Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. I thought I would do a little bit of a studio tour today. Some of you seemed interested in that. I really wanted to do this because I am very sadly moving out of my studio in a couple of weeks. I think I just wanted to document it in a more permanent way, and I thought I would also just bring you along. So if we walk in, we have these beautiful windows. This room gets so much amazing light. The wood detailing also in this space is crazy. I'm truly deeply so sad to leave this house. But I guess I will just kind of start and move along. So here is some of my stash. This is primarily weaving yarns that are mostly larger cones that are too big and bulky to put anywhere else. I will be doing a stash tour as well, so I'm not going to go through everything right now. Next to that, I have my Ashford extra wide drum carder, as well as below there are my hand cards and my other drum carder tools. This is what I use to blend my fleeces, or not blend, but process my fleeces, also blend bats and whatnot. So that is that. I figured I would sell this after I'm done processing the two fleeces I have, because I don't otherwise generally need a drum carder this large that can process this much. But I got it for a really great deal. And so, as you may or may not know, I have a hard time letting go of things that I feel were really good value. And so we'll see about that. Of course, this is a lamp. This is my mirror where I do fit checks. Nothing too crazy to write home about now. This is a crazy look. I'm gonna keep moving on. Here is my absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, prized Kromsky Symphony. This is where I spin primarily things that I want to spin long draw. It is amazing. I bought it used off Ravelry, I think in 2022. And it spins like butter. It is amazing. It is, I know a lot of people have qualms about, Saxony style wheels being noisy and chattery. And I know that can be the case, especially for older antique wheels. But she spins absolutely silently. And so kudos to the previous owner, because I had to do virtually no adjustments when I got her, and love her so much. Here is the first drum carder that I got. It is a Strouch petite drum carder. So I can really only fit probably about an ounce at a time on this bad boy. It also has a finer carding cloth. I do believe the Ashford extra wide drum carder is, I think, 94 TPI, and this is like 100, what is it, like 120 or something. It's a lot finer. So I use this for when I usually use this when I'm blending like comb top, things that have already been like very processed, because this just does not do well with fleeces. Tell me how I know, or ask me how I know. Here I have this. Okay, this basket of fiber has been here for literally years, and it's all from a patchwork kit that I got from Hello Yarn a few years ago, and I was using all of this when I was learning how to support spindle. But I also was like really into making Rolex for a hot second when I was learning how to do long draw. But yeah, with the petite drum carder, sorry, the shadows are crazy because the light is crazy right now. She also gave me a bunch of Ply magazine. And I've kind of flipped through a lot of these, haven't really sat down to read a lot of them, but I'm grateful to have them. And of course, I have my precious, precious green book. I also have other kind of knitting books and whatnot here. So moving on to my desk, I'll say this much, it's never this clean. It's usually bustling with stuff, but of course this is where I have my Swift, yarn winder, Lazy Kate. I really don't sit here to do anything ever. Like if I need a surface, I usually just like sit on the floor. But having drawers is really helpful to put other random miscellaneous stuff. I have a lot of stationery things here because I do write a lot of letters and whatnot. And of course, this is not part of my fiber studio, but I've got my collection of typewriters down here, which I think is fun. That's one of my very specific and niche interests and collectibles. But yeah, my desk is my desk. Nothing too crazy going on there. I know like this poster is like advertised as like specialty wrapping paper, but I find it really helpful actually when I'm like thinking about color and like weaving or knits and the kinds of colors that I would want to incorporate in a piece. And so very helpful, I'll say that much. And then, as you can see, I have this like wide open space here in front of my TV. It didn't always used to be like this. I have like this armchair, and if I'm doing like spinning on my if I spin up here or if I'm knitting up here, I'll usually move the armchair into this space so I can like watch TV and work on things. But I will say, ever since I brought my extremely nice couch into the living room from the basement, I do a lot of my crafting from the couch. And so this has kind of been just shunned to the corner while I work primarily downstairs, which is a little sad. But I think I want to give this space the love it deserves in my final few weeks. But over here, nothing too craft related. I have a sewing pattern that I've cut out and have done nothing with. So there's that. I thought I was going to make a dress for a wedding that I was going to, and then I decided that I didn't need to. And so I have the pattern, didn't make the dress. That's how it is with me and sewing. I have a nice little collection of books. A soil map of Maryland that it's probably outdated because I think this is from 2000. Oh, it's from 1994. I mean, I don't know how often soil maps change. But I imagine things look a lot different. 30 years ago from now, but alas. And then here is a storage bin of knits that I've completed. And then in these two lower bins is the rest is mostly my knitting yarn stash. That's a literal lie. One is primarily weaving yarns again, and the other is knitting yarns. I have an abundance of weaving yarns because as I said, all of those there are also weaving yarns. And most of those are from when I had a Glamocra. The woman that I bought it from gave me all of that for free, and so I just have it. And then this is weaving yarn that I've bought for myself, but I will get into that in my stash tour. This is one of my fleeces in this trash bag. Here's some more spinning fiber, and then I have some miscellaneous weaving stuff here, although most of my weaving stuff has moved downstairs. Just gonna move these out of the way for a second. But this is where I keep and collect all of my kind of other fiber craft supplies that are smaller, more trinkety. Of course, more weaving yarn, more weaving yarn. In this, I have just kind of random fibers, my iron, whatnot. And then in these drawers, I mean, there's so much storage in this room, it's crazy. A little bit more. This is the stuff I got at Rhinebeck this year. It's nothing too crazy. This is like knitting notions that I'll have. Got like sock blockers, random needles that don't have a home. This is like my knitting yarn scraps slash UFOs. I think this is a ranunculus that I had started, I think in 2021 or 2022. And we are not working on this anymore. But I have a lot of random yarns. All of these yarns I got from a natural dyer in Peru. And, you know, extra bulky yarn was like a big deal like 6 years ago, and it's just really not for me anymore. But I still have it and haven't done anything with it. So, whoops. Oh. Here is a lot of spinning fiber, primarily Hello Yarn. So I was subscribed to her fiber club for a long time. These are the things that remain that I haven't spun. A few things from a D-stash, I think this seaweed. But anyway, I'm gonna do a stash tour, so I'm not gonna get too into it. And then this is film camera stuff, not related to fiber. And there's nothing in this bottom drawer right now because this is where I usually store my yardage counter and my Swift, which are at my desk. So let's do this gracefully. Here's my television. I will say, okay, this is gonna sound stupid and maybe obvious, but I think my television has been my greatest purchase of my adult life in terms of like, just like generally improving my quality of life. Like I feel like up until like 2021, I did all of my TV consumption from my laptop, and it was just like such a game changer to get a TV. Yeah, if you can believe that. Anyway, I digress. So let's go down here. We've got a lot of miscellaneous fiber tools. In these boxes are my other miscellaneous drum carder tools. I have my Lazy Kate that came with my Kromsky and my Nitty Noddy that also came with my Kromsky. I was never a Nitty Noddy kind of person. I know, this is gonna make people cringe. I usually just wound all my skeins on my Swift because it has a little handle on top, which makes it really easy. But I know. Swifts are not designed to hold really any kind of tension. And I learned that the hard way when I was making that giant skein for my sister for Christmas, and it just like maxed out, and I was like, I gotta use a Swift, or I gotta use a Nitty Noddy. And so there's the Nitty Noddy. I think it'll become a more regular part of my life. It's kind of fun. Here is where I keep my one. Okay, so I was telling you about how I was learning support spindling earlier in this. I've since then pretty much destashed all my support spindles except for this one, which is from Woodland Woodworking, and it is, of course, Lord of the Rings themed. I also have a couple extra Turkish spindle shafts in here. My Turkish spindles are all currently in use somewhere. Where exactly? I couldn't say. I just have some other random fiber down here. And then up here is just like kind of a mess. I use these as loom weights. I have some clamps, tape measure, all this random stuff. Nothing too crazy up here, just a little bit disorganized. And then, yeah. Oh God, okay, we're standing up. Up here is primarily a lot of tchotchkes This is my one designated sewing shelf for all things sewing. The rest of the stuff in here, I don't think I'm going to go through it. Is a lot of stationery, art supplies. I mean, maybe it'll be fun. So I think in this top drawer, sorry, I'm not tall enough for this, I've got my Taylor ham and a bowl of, I made this bowl. I think it's kind of cute. Random threads, needles. I made this in middle school. It's not aged well. I'll say that much. And then, yep, here I've got random miscellaneous art supplies, paints, printmaking tools. I purged a lot of this a couple years ago. But anyway, here are mostly stationery, letters I've received. This is more paint, a palette that I bought and haven't used. I'm trying to convince myself that I like painting, and I just don't really think it's going to happen for me. I think that these bottom two drawers are empty, so I'm not going to go through that. And then I have this lovely reading nook that I don't ever use as a reading nook because the bench is quite hard. I think I need like cushions, but I just never got around to it. But yeah, I think that is the whole studio tour. I will say things that are no longer up here that used to be up here. My baby wolf, there used to be a loom. I usually kept it folded up in that back corner, but it's not here anymore, as well as my Ashford rigid heddle loom. Also not here anymore. I think it used to live here where my drum carter is now. But I was gonna say that and I'm like, that's a complete and total lie, which is out goes, if I want to bring something in, I have to get rid of something. And I would say that mostly doesn't hold true. Yeah, the only thing that is not up here, or there's two things that are not up here. My 46-inch Loomcraft floor loom, which is downstairs in the living room, and my e-spinner. And so I might take you downstairs to see those, because they're also, I mean, the e-spinner is nothing crazy to behold, but the 46-inch Loomcraft, on the other hand, though it is kind of shunned to a corner right now and it's not in use. But yeah, that is my lovely, beautiful studio. I have loved and cherished it for many years, and I'm sad to be leaving it. I think there's something to be said about having designated creative spaces. And I hope that I can come close to having a space that feels like this in the future. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.